10, verses 5 through 23. It's Jesus sending out the disciples, and we do have Sir David Suchet to share that with us.
Matthew chapter 10. These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions. Do not go among the Gentiles or enter any town of the Samaritans. Go rather to the lost sheep of Israel. As you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Heal those who are ill, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. Do not get any gold or silver or copper to take with you in your belts. No bag for the journey, or extra shirt or sandals, or a staff, for the worker is worth his keep. Whatever town or village you enter, search there for some worthy person, and stay at their house until you leave. As you enter the home, give it your greeting. If the home is deserving, let your peace rest on it. If it is not, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town, and shake the dust off your feet. Truly I tell you, it will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town. I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. Be on your guard. You will be handed over to the local councils and flogged in the synagogues. On my account, you will be brought before governors and kings as witnesses to them and to the Gentiles. But when they arrest you, do not worry about what to say or how to say it. At that time, you will be given what to say, for it will not be you speaking, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. Children will rebel against their parents and have them put to death. You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. When you are persecuted in one place, flee to another. Truly I tell you, you will not finish going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes.
The word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Please be seated. This passage in Matthew, wow, it packs a punch. There's a lot of stuff in there. There are probably 4 or 5 sermons at least in that passage. We're going to focus today on what the Lord told me to pull out. So Jesus has been preparing for his disciples for ministry. He has handpicked them, called them to leave behind their families, their jobs, their livelihoods, and to follow him. And they do. That's a testament to the courage and desire and willingness to serve that already lived in each man's heart when they met Jesus. They would spend the next few years following this teacher, this prophet, this divinity made man, and learn from him. Lessons in parable form, and in humility, and in action. They would learn about good soil, and weeds that choke out growth, and the need to step up into ministry when people are hungry, even if it is more than 5,000 people. They would learn about lost lambs and the love that is displayed when 99 are left safe to find the one that strayed. They would learn about faith the size of mustard seeds and letting their light shine, and how giving all of themselves, like the widow, meant more than the rich man giving a small part. They would learn that Jesus liked tax collectors and adulterers and lepers and blind people and stubborn people and the poor and the needy. They would learn that the meek would inherit the earth, and the peacemakers would know righteousness, and the afflicted would be comforted. Jesus is preparing his disciples for ministry. He knows they will face trials, persecution, ridicule, suppression, jail, and even death. He loves this group of ragtag disciples as much as he loves anyone else. He wants them to be prepared. Jesus' words of advice at this point in time, as he sends them out into the world, may seem strange to us. And you know by now that I like to look at what's not said as much as what is said. Here are a few things that Jesus did not ask them to do: worry, judge, condemn, even convert. I think this is important to remember, especially because some of us have probably been brought up in a church that preached that over and over and preached that more than love. Our job as Christian required us to do those things, required us to worry and judge and condemn and convert. There are some things also that Jesus specifically tells them not to do. He says, acquire no gold or silver or copper for your belts, no bag for your journey, or 2 tunics or sandals or a staff. He purposely tells his disciples not to worry about food, not to worry about money, not to worry about provisions of any kind. How easy is that to actually do? How many of us have already thought today about our lunch plans? Please be honest. How many of us today have already thought about money or bills or jobs or our economic future? How many of us today put some thought into what we would wear to church? Obviously not me, but some of you have. I know this is simplistic. Of course we think of these things, and I think it's wise and prudent to be thoughtful about our meals, our money, our clothes, but that should not be the point. Please look at this. Don't say anything just yet, but look at this. I'm going to ask you to think about how you would describe what you see here in just a moment. Raise your hand if you would describe what you saw as a small black dot in the middle of the page. Raise your hand if you described it as a huge amount of empty white space. Getting into my hands. Most of us don't mention the white part of the paper or the poster board. Most of us focus on the black dot, and the same thing happens in our lives. We have a white paper to observe and enjoy, but we always focus on the dark spots. Our life is a gift given to us by God with love and care. We have so many reasons to celebrate. Nature renewing itself every day, our friends around us, the job that provides our livelihood, the miracles we see every day. However, we insist on focusing sometimes only on the dark spots, the health issues that bother us, the lack of money, the complicated relationships of a family member, disappointment with a friend. The dark spots are very small compared to everything we have in our lives, but they're the ones that sometimes pollute our minds. I think it's pretty obvious now why Jesus told them not to worry about money and food and clothes. Jesus wanted them to focus on the bigger picture. The absence of worry, the glory of the positive blessings in their lives, and the blessing of sharing his love. Here's what the Bible says about being positive. Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Colossians 3:1-2. Since then you have been raised with Christ, set your hearts on things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Psalm 19. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Even Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 1 through 4. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and men. One of my favorites, Romans 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Again in Philippians, this time chapter 2. Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and of one mind. Jesus spoke more about not worrying, about not fretting, about not being focused on this world than he ever did about what Christians feel their job is sometimes today. Jesus sent his disciples into the world with specific commands. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, cast out demons. Proclaim, Jesus says, that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Proclaim all of these things I put in your minds and your hearts. Proclaim the Beatitudes. Proclaim the news of forgiveness. Proclaim the love that will find the lost among us. And when the going gets tough, as it will, Jesus foretells, remember this, he says, I am with you. Do not be anxious about how you are to speak or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you in that hour. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Do not focus on the little black dot. Dwell on those things that are good, worthy, and wise. Dwell on Christ. Yet, admittedly, we will probably wake up tomorrow and once again dwell on our finances, our food, and our clothes. Most of us probably do not spend the first waking moments every morning thanking God for our rich blessings. If you do that, wow, that's amazing. And congratulations, and teach me how to do that. So, how do we make that happen? How can we set our minds on the words of Jesus as he sends us out to proclaim that the kingdom of heaven is at hand? When I was teaching 5th grade, our school had a program called School-Wide Positive Behavior Support. It's a nationally funded program that is taught in probably about 40% of the schools and should be in 100%. Through that program, we learned that how we say things can be very important. We needed to restructure all of our common procedures to be in a positive tone. We should not say, don't run down the hall, because that's negative. So we replace it with, walk with your fellow students at a moderate pace. We replaced, don't punch your fellow student in the face with, be mindful of your hands and feet. It seems like, sometimes to me, it seemed like a silly thing. Because I heard, probably growing up, a lot more of the negatives than the positive. And it wasn't easy to always think in that way until I learned the research. 2.5 positive comments for every 1 negative comment has the effect of normal human function. Just to function as a human, not to exceed, not to excel, not to be successful, just to function as a human. The research shows that you need a minimum of 2.5 good vibes for every 1 bad. If you want optimal functioning, that needs to be 4 to 1. If you want to have a successful relationship with somebody else, could be a marriage, could be a partnership, could just be friends, 5 to 1. 5 good comments for every negative. How do you do that? Here are some suggestions I found on the internet. Focus on the good things. Duh. Practice gratitude. Practice being thankful for things. Keep a gratitude journal. This is my favorite. Open yourselves up to humor. Spend time with positive people. Practice positive self-talk. Identify your areas of negativity. Start every day on a positive note. Take your eyes away from the black spots in your life. Enjoy each one of your blessings, each moment that life gives you. Do you remember our buddy Punchinello? Remember how his whole life, up until he met Eli, was wrapped up in experiencing negatives. People criticizing, people complaining, people comparing, people judging. He even began to prejudge himself. Punch's ratio was probably flipped to 4 negative for every 1 positive. Punch was below the level of normal functioning. Do you remember what it was that turned things around for Punchinello? Eli said, "Come and sit with me. Let me tell you how much you mean to me." Jesus says, don't worry about things of this world. Keep your mind on me. Keep your eyes on me. We get to choose how we spend our time. We choose whom we love. We choose what we hate. We choose what goes into our heads. We choose what comes out of our mouths. We choose each day, each hour, each moment, what we see. What do you see? Amen.